Hello, Professor. This is Group 9, and I'm Haili. The topic of our group assignment is e-waste. First, I'm going to concentrate on the problems and insights we've obtained through our interviews about e-waste. I'll tell you something about the background. What is e-waste? Actually, all discarded electronic devices are e-waste. However, a significant portion of the interviewees were unfamiliar with this concept and didn't know what could be classified as e-waste, let alone the potential value of e-waste. Many people choose to dispose of e-waste along with other garbage, which results in toxic chemicals being released directly out of it, seriously affecting the environment. Not only is it unclear how destructive e-waste is to the environment, but most people expect the recycling rate of e-waste to be much higher than it actually is. During the interviews, we found that most people are not very interested in recycling e-waste, and most of them choose to keep the devices they no longer use. A large portion mentioned privacy issues, and they were very worried about the data stored in the devices would be extracted during this recycling process, leading to the leakage of personal information, which would bring them great trouble. On the other hand, there is no reliable and convenient recycling channel. Many people don't know where to recycle these e-waste, and even if they know, they are unwilling to take it far away for recycling. In addition, the recycling price of electronic waste is far below the purchase price, also far below people's expectations. And at this stage, it's still mainly to recycle metals. The economic benefits of the recycling process are still very low. In conclusion, the recycling rate of e-waste is still low due to many factors, especially the lack of reliable and convenient recycling channels, people's concern about leakage of personal information, and the low economic efficiency of recycling process. However, with the rapid innovation of information technology, the amount of e-waste will grow rapidly in parallel and become a major threat to the environment. Therefore, we must improve the recycling path as soon as possible, establish a third-party regulator, and improve the recycling technology. Next, we have Daniel talk about our solutions about these problems. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks, Haili. I will now be bringing you through the personas and solutions. As mentioned by Haili, there are three main concerns with e-waste recycling: privacy, convenience, and the economic benefits. We grouped the participants according to the latter two, as the concerns of privacy was touted as a concern by all participants. In quadrant 1 and 3, we can see that interviewees were highly motivated to reuse e-waste due to the monetary value associated with reuse. For these users, they have assessed that the condition of their electronic goods is good enough to be passed on to another user. However, there is another dimension of people who have deemed their electronics to be of low present value and is just looking for a way to conveniently dispose of them. Most interviewees approached also said that they would be keen to recycle e-waste if they were given clear instructions on how to ensure data privacy and if overall methods were also not too inconvenient. We know that the high understanding of e-waste does not directly translate to disposal practices, as some choose to upcycle instead of recycle. From this map, we can see that there is a large need for e-waste disposal for low-value waste. However, there are still a few hurdles. From our interviews, we assessed that the typical user just wants to get rid of their waste, e-waste or not. So they are primarily concerned with disposal. With the right messaging, we believe we can make them go the extra mile, especially considering that if we address their unmet needs of ensuring that their device memory never gets leaked. The issue with existing solutions is that these e-waste bins are unsecured and is exposed to scavengers who might want to repurpose these devices. However, we need to address if making these bins more secure would be an answer if people do not inherently trust recyclers to do the right thing. If so, securing these bins might not be the solution. Thus, we need a solution that puts privacy back into the hands of consumers. Using the insights from the interview, we have identified that a typical customer just wants to dispose of their low-value electronics, is willing to recycle provided that it's relatively convenient, is concerned with device in-memory storage and privacy, and is not satisfied with the current e-waste bins, which are neither secure nor convenient. After brainstorming on several solutions, we found that if we could get the user to identify and dismantle the e-waste memory and destroy it themselves, we can effectively reduce the size of the e-waste itself and at the same time reduce the privacy concerns that they face. For example, if we provided clear instructions, any user can locate the memory device of an electronic device and remove or destroy it, effectively rendering the device ineffective. The user can then send the electronic parts to us in the mail while discarding the rest of the plastic components in the general waste stream. I will now hand it over to Jingwen, who will be sharing more about market sizing, industry, and competition.
Hi, I'm Jingwen, and I will be sharing more about the market and competition of the e-waste industry in Singapore. In Singapore, e-waste recycling programs include initiatives by companies such as StarHub, Singtel, Singpost, Canon and Epson, and IKEA. Under the National Voluntary Partnership for E-Waste Recycling, industry partners assume a leading role in spearheading recycling programs with added support and recognition from the National Environment Agency, NEA. To further improve e-waste management in Singapore, Singapore has implemented the Extended Producer Responsibility (EPR) framework in 2021, which extends producers' responsibilities to the proper end-of-life management of their products. They will need to collect and ensure the products are recycled by licensed companies. This has been used effectively to promote the recycling of e-waste and recovery of valuable materials in other countries, including South Korea and Sweden. So, who are the e-waste collectors in Singapore? In terms of market competition, Singapore's e-waste market is a consolidated market with few dominant players. The biggest player is Alba E-Waste, with recycling bins across residential estates, community centres, corporations such as supermarket chains and appliance stores. Alba's e-waste also organises collection drives and doorstep collection held at the housing estates managed by town councils. The next biggest player is Metallo SG in collaboration with Shell, with e-waste bins across 24 Shell petrol stations across Singapore. Meanwhile, KJ's Private Limited has few bins across Singapore. Here, we have plotted 5 forces to analyse the industry's attractiveness and to understand the underlying levers of profitability in the e-waste market. In terms of threat of new entrants, bargaining power of suppliers, rivalry among existing players, they are low. For the first point on threat of new entrants, long-term contractual agreements with governments by licensed e-waste companies such as Alba E-Waste allows them to establish economies of scale, thereby reducing number of potential entrants. In terms of bargaining power of suppliers, suppliers of e-waste such as appliance stores and manufacturing companies can only seek from 3 main licensed e-waste providers, thus their bargaining power is low. Finally, in terms of rivalry among existing players, it is low. As mentioned earlier, the e-waste market in Singapore is a consolidated one with non-intense competition. Meanwhile, the bargaining power of buyers is high as buyers demand convenience and monetary value with availability of substitutes, thus low switching cost. Also, with threat from substitute products, majority still chooses improper disposal or non-recycling, and e-waste goes to incineration. Next, I'll be handing the time to Mike, who will be talking about the business model. Thank you.
Thank you, Jingwen. So now we'll be introducing our product solution based on our findings. I hope that from previous slides, it has been now clear that consumers do very much indeed want to participate in the sustainability movement. But the right incentives in terms of monetary as well as convenience need to be in place. We also identified that many consumers care a lot about their data privacy, and has been a hurdle for them in recycling their electronic devices. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Send. Send is a business that addresses consumers' concerns on data privacy and offers a convenient solution for consumers to sell their electronic devices. It allows consumers to contribute to the environmental costs while getting the most out of it. We intend to focus on iPhone products first and later on expand our reach to other phones and also other devices, just laptops as well. So in terms of the customer segment, when we're conducting our interviews, we found that there is a particular consumer group who are concerned about data privacy in regards to their devices. And that resulted in them storing more than one devices in their homes with no clear intended purposes. And actually that resulted in the value of those devices depreciating as time goes on. So this is our primary targeted customer segment in this case. Our secondary target customer group are ones who are looking for convenient alternatives in selling their electronic devices. They're looking for easier ways to drop off devices instead of going out all of their way to make an extra effort in doing so either at the bins or selling them in person at the stores or through online channels, also in person. What we're delivering here in terms of the value proposition here is simple, focusing on 4 aspects. Protecting consumers' data privacy, provide the convenience to consumers, offering monetary incentives in return. So those 3 are all the pain points we're seeing across our interviews. But last and not the least, contributing to sustainability by prolonging the electronic device's life cycles. So this is what the customer journey will look like, and from a customer's point of view. So after signing up online with us, we will send you a package and a do-it-yourself toolkit specific to your device. You can then access manual and video on dismantling the device online and our web pages to erase your data and also take out the hardware storage components for double insurance in that sense. You can then place a kit along with the device into the package that we have sent you and drop them off at a mailbox location or at a convenience store, which will then be sent to us. Lastly, when we have received and assessed your phone, the payment will be sent to you. So signing up is available on mobile, tablet, and desktop. Here's the interface page. Upon taking photos of your device, our program will automatically recognize what device you have and provide a guidance on the price range that you will receive based on our current service orders. You can, of course, enter your device information manually here as well. And here you can also see that you can select the option in terms of the data cleaning procedures, as well as the drop-off location. As I mentioned, we also offer this on the desktop as well. So here we're looking at it from the desktop point of view. Here's also the interface after you have signed up and received the do-it-yourself toolkit already. This page provides the instructions on erasing your data from a software point of view, as you can see here as number 1. It also provides a manual and the video on your specific model in removing your hardware storage from your device. And on the right, it also displays the user's progress in the customer's journey. So we have introduced this product concept to consumers who we have identified in need of this service, and also with our prior consumers interview. And I'm happy to share that so far the feedback has been very positive. Those we have interviewed are interested in trying this service out, but also when asked about what they liked about the service, they clearly pinpointed out the value proposition we were trying to deliver, the 4 key value proposition we have identified. So with that, we very much look forward to rolling out Send nationwide in the near future. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for your time in tuning in.